see here some of the stuff I added. I have some granola and some soup mix, which is, just dump it in some boiling water, quick and easy. Or the granola, you can just snack on that. And you can see I have portion size, so that I can not spoil the rest of my food by opening it. I got a packet of sugar for some flavoring, some salt. Some salt's important, especially if you're going to be a hot area, because you're going to lose a lot of salt by sweating. Got some bouillon cubes for some flavoring. I also have here some oatmeal and some rice, which will take up relatively little space for the amount of food that it's going to give you. And of course, you want to include something, a little snack to keep your spirits up. I included some gum and some little bag of cookies, just so you have something to look forward to, because keeping your mental state in a good place is also very important. And here we have some stuff that I forgot to include in the beginning. Here I have a spork, pretty simple, multi-tool, save on some pack weight and some space. And most important of all when cooking and preparing your food is the fire. I have several different alternatives here, just in case one doesn't work, or so I have some backup. Here I have a fire starter, which is basically just a large flint bar, and it comes with a scraper here, and you see when you scrape it quickly, it makes a pretty big nice hot spark, and these will last a long time, probably more than you'll need. And if you can get some dry kindling, this will start a fire up pretty quickly. Next here I have what's called a fire piston, and most people don't actually know about these, but I thought it was interesting to include because it's a pretty simple design, and doesn't really seem like it should work, but it actually works pretty well to get some nice red hot embers. Basically how it works is you compress the air in this piece of wood at a fast enough rate that it sets the material within it on fire. And you just take a little piece of bark here, a little piece of dry bark, and put it in the end, and insert it into the tube, and you press it together real fast and try to pull it out as fast as you can. The trick here is to do it with as much speed as possible. It's going to take a few times, but it will work. I assure you it actually works. I can see here it took me a few tries, but if you look close you can see the smoke coming off of it from the ember. Now you just get a little bit of a blow onto this and you'll have a nice red hot ember, and you can use that to start up some kindling and you're good to go. Of course, good old modern technology is always a good solution. Here I've included a big lighter. Eventually this will run out, but it's a good, quick, fast, simple solution. So add a couple of these to your pack. Next on the list here we have some medical supplies. Again, this is going to be pretty important because you never know what's going to happen. I have all these Ziploc to keep the water out, because wet bandages are not going to be helpful. In fact, it'll probably be worse than not putting anything on a wound at all. To start with, I have some basic hygiene stuff like soap and a toothbrush. Don't forget these. It's something you might forget, just out of absent-mindedness, because it's something we all take for granted. I also have some dental floss here. Not only is it going to be good for flossing your teeth, but it's good for stirring up little loop traps for animals you might want to catch if you run out of food, or any kind of rigging or stitching together clothing. You can use it for that as well. Also have some medical tape, good for in case you have any kind of swelling from minor injuries, and some bandages, which are also vacuum sealed. Have some alcohol swabs here, stop infection before it happens. Some Neosporin, which is also very important, because if you get an infection out in the wild, you don't have any antibiotics or doctors, so you got to stop it before it happens. Here, another thing you're gonna thank yourself later for having is some toilet paper. Now you can fold this up and get it down a pretty small size, and you're gonna be thankful for having this, especially since it's so light and takes up very little space. Next I have some vitamins, some vitamin C. Again, you want to keep your your health up, and if you feel something coming on, you can take a large dose of this and hopefully kick that bug. Also I included some melatonin in case you might have a little trouble getting to sleep when you need to be. Also, you want to include any kind of other medications you might need to take on a regular basis with your pack. Here I have some chapstick. It's going to be good. Depending on what time of season it is, you might be getting raw lips, and your face, your nose might be getting a little bit raw, and you want to, be in as little pain as possible. So this is important. In my second medical bag here, you can see I included some ACE bandages, which is going to be important for your feet eventually if you're walking a long distance, for stop swelling or if you get any kind of minor injuries. Also too, some rolls of clean sealed bandages is important in case you get any kind of wounds. You want to, again, prevent infection, keep it covered and clean. Next here I have some rubbing alcohol, again for disinfecting purposes. And these I have for cleaning, some basic hygiene. These are these little compressed towel, paper towel deals, which are disposable, and you just get them wet and they expand. Just big enough to clean your face and hands, and if you use a couple of them, you could probably do more with them. But they take up very little space. They're pretty light and they're pretty useful. Here I've included some other stuff like an instant cold pack, which is going to be important to stop swelling if you have that problem. Some water gel burn pack, which is basically if you get any kind of burn injuries, you put this down and it will stop it from causing further damage. Lastly, I have what's a quick clot pack. This is in case you get any kind of major injury, which is bleeding a lot and you can't stop it. You just rip this thing open and dump it on it, and then compress it on the wound, and it will basically act as a quick clotting agent, as the name says, and it will stop the bleeding. These things are a little bit expensive, but if you really want to have a complete pack, I think it's worth the $15 that it costs. Also, I've included here, again for you people in the colder climates, some heat packs. I have a disposable kind, and this orange thing here is a reusable heat pack, which is actually filled with sodium acetate. And you can see here, you just click this little metal button here and it will create temperatures above 100 degrees, and it lasts for quite a long while. You basically just use this thing, it gets pretty hot, and you want to reset it. You just boil it in water until all the crystals are gone, and it's ready to go again. Some other less consequential stuff I included was potassium iodate, which is good for in case of a nuclear attack. But if you're on the outskirts of the area that was hit by a nuclear attack, this will keep you alive long enough to get you out of the irradiated areas without too much damage. I also included, it's basically a quick filling for teeth. If you have any kind of fillings, if those pop out when you're out in the wild, that's an infection hazard which could easily kill you, especially since it's so close to your brain. So you want to have something that you can use to fill that hole. And you can get this at any grocery store for under $5. Alright, some other stuff I included here is a collapsible shovel. Folds up, nice small package here. This is good for working with fire or digging traps, or if you want to cook some meat or something, make a fire pit. Also be good for any kind of hammering if you want to do that. Next I have good old wrist rocket, which would be really great for hunting small animals, rabbits, squirrels, things like that for food. But it takes up quite a bit of space, so a good alternative here is this collapsible version I found, which is actually pretty great. You just break it apart and screw it together, and it is a nice looking wrist rocket.